Hey everybody, this is Perch. Here's a quick question. It says, hey Perch, isn't the recent Krakoa era, which I hated, and from your videos sounded like you did too, a strong argument not to do ongoing storytelling like you often talk about? If comics were not using ongoing storytelling, then the Krakoa era would have ended a long time ago. That's the big benefit to one and done comics. They don't last for long. Well, okay, so react to that. No, I think you're providing the wrong solution to the problem. I think if a comic is bad, if the storytelling sucks, if it's not a good comic, the solution is, hey, let's not give any kind of long lasting anything to this comic. It's the wrong way to look at it. It's like, if it sucks and it's bad and the writing is bad, how is one and done changing the story around going to help that? It's just you're going to get 500. I mean, let's not kid ourselves with how long comics last these days. You're going to get 6 shitty little stories rather than one big shitty story. I mean, I don't know. Is it what that really, yeah, that kind of feels like I'm making a dumb choice. Like, hey, would you like to get kicked in the balls or would you like to be punched in the balls? Which would you prefer? And then you stand there like, well, most people can't kick for shit. So there's a higher possibility that it'll graze you rather than have a direct solid hit. On the other hand, the kick would potentially get a little bit more momentum with the boot. And also the foot is in a boot or a shoe or something with some additional heft, whereas the hand is just probably bare knuckles. So maybe the hand would be better. You'd better get punched in the balls and kicked in the balls. I don't know. But look, and eventually you go, I don't want the balls to have any impact from foot or hand, or nobody said head, but you know what? I'm not going to go down there. Anyway, because some head impact in the balls isn't bad. I'm just saying it's hit 50,000 subscribers, you get a little victory party. And anyway, okay, sorry. My point is, I think that ongoing storytelling is critical and important for comics. I think if you don't have that, I don't think you really have comics. Now, I'm not one of those people who's going to hold that up as the definition of all time, because there's plenty of storytellers who go out there and they do one and done type stories and they're fine. Ice Cream Man, as an example, is a comic I enjoy a lot. I think it's fun. That often gets put up as a one and done kind of comic, because the story is self-contained inside the comic and then it moves on. However, it's also the same creative team, it's the same genre, it's the same style, it's the same general concept. It is this kind of lightweight, psychological, not horror exactly, but anyway, it's playing on those things. And so, the Ice Cream Man is one and done as a concept, but it's also it's a comic book that, maintains and continues as a concept as well. So, it's kind of both. I don't think, okay, so we take the X-Men and we say, all right, the Krakoa era sucks and we don't like the writing and the ways that the Krakoa era is coming about. All right, so the alternative is what then? Is it that, we're going to have lots of mini Krakoa stories, or it's going to be the Krakoa scenario this issue, and then it's going to be they're hanging out in the New York sewers the next issue? What is it that you're going for there? It feels like you're kind of all over the place. So, that's the way I view it. I think that with comics, I think you need to just commit to the ongoing story, and maybe you tell that ongoing story in one big long narrative, like a Claremont or a Walking Dead, like a Kirkman type story, or you have the kind of the genre of the story, the general high principles, and you're telling them in, bursts, 1 issues, 5 issues, a dozen issues, whatever the story basically dictates. But that's what comics needs to be. It needs to be that form of storytelling. And I think you don't get away from bad storytelling by telling shorter stories. You just tell bad short stories rather than bad long stories. To me, it's as simple as that. I don't know if it really gets any more complicated than that. So I can keep rambling for another 5 minutes, or I can do another email. And so let's do that. We'll do another email. It's kind of a bonus email in this one. Of course, there's going to be some long giant ass essay that it's going to take 20 minutes just to do. So I'll blow up the whole video concept. Then I'll forget that the first half exists. So this thing will get labeled and people will tune in. They're like, what the fuck is going on? I can also just keep talking like this in this weird, dysfunctional, neurotic way for another 5 minutes. And that could be the rest of the video. It could be that. Anyway. All right, we'll let's stop fucking around. We'll go into this. It says, hey, Perch, curious if you wanted to weigh in to the recent debate about nerd culture. Is nerd culture toxic? There's a little bit more to the mail, but it's more private here. So, I guess people are throwing around the word toxic too much these days. Just quite bluntly, not everything is toxic. And you can't just say, I don't really like the conversation we're having. It's making me uncomfortable. Therefore, it's toxic as some kind of get out of conversation jail free card, because that's kind of what it feels like. It's like, ooh, I don't like that somebody is criticizing my work. I don't like that somebody is questioning what I'm doing. This is toxic. No, it's not toxic. It just means you do not have any ability to debate or, reasonably accept feedback. And don't get me started with but some fans are, tossing racist words around and everything else. Sure, people who are pricks are pricks. Okay, that's a given. But if we're talking about what is toxic around fandom, I don't know. I guess you can define it and debate it any way you want, but a lot of times it feels like what people call toxic fandom is people who are very attached or very into whatever the subject is, whatever the property is that we're talking about. And so is that toxic, or is that just a natural result? I've said this before of just what, you're building a brand. And when you build a brand and you build, you build a concept, then, people get attached to it. If you're lucky, if you build something that people care about, they'll get attached to it. Is that toxic? No, I mean, that's a conclusion of your hard work. That's what that is. And I think nerd culture, whatever that means, I mean, it's just, people argue about things, and that's an attachment to whatever the property is. The toxic part comes with all the weird gatekeeping bullshit that goes on all over the place. It's the, a small select group of us are going to elevate ourselves over the rest of you. And it is amazing, by the way, in comics, how there will be independent creators that I'll see and I'll follow and, I'll talk to and everything else. And they're really annoyed by kind of the gatekeeping and the, you got to be a certain way to hang out with the cool kids, kind of that attitude. And then the second somebody makes it or gets their own following or whatever it happens to be, immediately they start constructing new gates. It's immediately they start putting themselves. You see this with people going to YouTube, and you see this with people forming their own little companies. Suddenly, they're kind of creating these bigger than life personas, and suddenly you start getting the conversation of, I don't know, I'll think about supporting your comic, and it just turns all stupid to me. Popularity is not meant to be wielded like a club. If you are somebody who comments, or you're somebody who creates, or whatever else, if you're creating something, good for you. Hopefully your ideas, your words, your drawings, your writing, whatever it is, hopefully it's popular. And hopefully you're able to build that kind of business for yourself along those lines. But when you've done that, remember where you came from. And remember that, it's not, I don't know. I mean, did you really set out to just make yourself another little king in all this? Hopefully not. Because yeah, it's not lost on me that a lot of people, come to prominence or come to people's attention because they're quote unquote fighting the system. And so to me, it's hypocritical and it's disappointing when people who fight the system become the new system and then jealously protect the new system they're in. It's almost like they remembered how it was to be outside, and now they're desperate to hold on to that place, even if it means keeping others outside. That's anyway. So, but I mean, the toxic stuff, it's also, we don't have to do all these mental gymnastics to try to determine what's toxic fandom, what's not toxic fandom, all that kind of stuff. We don't need to do any of these logistics. We can simply do it the easy way. Are you screaming on YouTube at a bunch of people? Are you on social media, yelling at people you've never met about their politics or their religion or some opinion they've had? Are you aggressively in DMs and emails gossiping and like, I heard this person say this thing? Have you ever, are you scrolling through video, comment sections looking for your name and then do you have a sock puppet or fake account ready so you can kind of talk about yourself as an amazing magical person to the person who's arguing with you so it doesn't look like you're that your legions of fans are defending you instead of you? Is that like lots, like Dan Slott has done most of those things. That's toxic. To me that's the toxic part. Is the fan who says your Spider-Man sucks toxic? Well, maybe rude. Is the person who says your Spider-Man sucks and, I wish harm on you? That's toxic. Again, I think hopefully the majority of people listening to this are grown human beings and, you were taught at some point the difference between right and wrong. And so I don't think any of this stuff is that complicated. I think just a little bit of thought, everybody can figure this out for themselves because it's pretty easy. But anyway, that's my take on it. What do you think? Yeah, that's right. It's that time. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course. One and done issues, the solution to all of life's ills? Let me know. Thanks for listening.